Look around, the sky, your screen, maybe your own eyes. Blue is everywhere, and almost none of it is really there, not the way you think. Almost every blue you have ever seen is a trick of light, not a blue thing at all. The color is real, the blue thing mostly isn't. Blue is everywhere you look, and almost none of it is really there. How is a butterfly's wing blue with no blue in it? Why did the oldest stories call the sea wine dark and never blue? Why did we have to cook blue in a furnace to get it? Stay with me. By the end, you won't be able to look at blue the same way again. Start with the brightest blue in the world, a morpho butterfly. That wing looks like it was dipped in glowing paint. Put it under a microscope and the paint is gone. There is no blue there, just rows of tiny ridges stacked like little shelves, far too small to see. They catch the light and bounce only the blue part of it back at you. Everything else, a dark brown underneath, soaks up. The blue isn't in the wing, it's in the way the wind bends the light. Grind that wing to dust and the ridges break, and the blue simply disappears. One strange butterfly, you might think. But now hold a feather. Take a blue jay feather, as blue as they come. Look closely and it isn't solid at all. It's a sponge, full of tiny pockets of air, spaced just right to scatter blue light back at you. The only real color inside is plain brown. So try it. Crush the feather between your fingers. You break the little structure, and the blue dies. On the spot, the brown is all that's left. Every blue feather on Earth does this. Which raises a bigger question. Is it just this one bird, or all of them? All of them. A peacock plays the same trick, with tiny crystals stacked inside each feather, over the same dull brown, and it doesn't stop at birds. No bird, no mammal, no reptile on Earth makes a blue color in its body. Not one. Every blue animal you can picture, the fish, the frog, the lizard, the bird, is faking it. The blue is never in the animal. It's a trick of light sitting on top of brown, which is a strange thing to think about while looking in a mirror. Because if you have blue eyes, you have no blue in them either. There is no blue coloring in a human eye. None. Blue eyes are simply eyes with very little brown. And where the brown is missing, the clear tissue scatters light and sends the blue back to whoever is looking. It's the exact same trick that turns the sky blue. So two people with bright blue eyes don't own a speck of blue between them. They own a lack of brown and the trick of light on a face. Fine, you think. Eyes are strange. But the blueberries in the fridge are just blue, aren't they? No. Look at a blueberry. See that dusty cloudy film on the skin, the bit you rub off on your shirt? That film is the whole reason it looks blue. It's a thin coat of natural wax, and its tiny structure scatters blue light exactly like the feather, exactly like your eye. Wipe it away, and the berry underneath is nearly black-red. The blue was a coat, not a color, which leaves the real question. Why does life go to all this trouble? Ridges, sponges, crystals, wax, instead of just making something blue? Because blue is the most expensive color to make. To look blue, a material has to swallow the strongest light there is, the reds, the yellows, and send back only the little that's left. That takes a big, fussy, costly molecule that most living things simply never bother to build. It's far cheaper to grow a tiny structure that bends light than to invent real blue paint. So almost nothing does. True blue coloring turns up in a tiny handful of creatures, a few butterflies, a few fish, and just about nowhere else in the animal world. Animals gave up on blue, but surely a flower. A flower is basically a bag of color. A flower can just be blue. Not easily. Fewer than 1 flower in 10 is blue. And not one of them has blue paint to work with either. What a blue flower actually does is take a red color and bend it, stacking on acid and metal and helper molecules, tipping the red slowly over until it finally looks blue. It's such fiddly chemistry that most plants never pull it off at all. So blue is rare in the animals, rare in the flowers, rare in the whole living world. And when a thing is that rare, people are slow to give it a name. Go back to the oldest stories we have, thousands of years old, and in them nothing is ever blue. There is no word for it. The greatest of them describes the sea over and over and calls it wine dark, the color of dark wine. The sky he calls bronze or iron. Black is everywhere in his lines. White everywhere, red often, blue never once. Now he saw the same sea you would see, his eyes were fine. He just never had a word to pick that one color out of the world. And it wasn't only him. Look across the world's languages and colors get their names in almost the same order every time. Dark and light first, then red, then green and yellow, and blue. Blue comes last, at the very back of the line. Plenty of languages still use a single word for blue and green together, as if they are two shades of one thing. There are people herding cattle in Namibia today whose colors are sorted on different lines than yours. Quick to split greens, you would swear, are identical. Slower with a blue you would pick out in a blink. Not because they can't see it, because their words carve up color a different way, so the world barely makes blue. And we were slow to even name it. Which leaves one last question. How did blue end up everywhere? On your walls, your jeans, your screen. We built it. We are the only creature that manufactures blue. About 4,500 years ago, older than most of the pyramids, someone in Egypt cooked sand, lime and copper together in a furnace until it came out blue. The first color humans ever made from scratch. And even that wasn't enough. The deepest blue on Earth came from a single blue stone dug out of one far-off mountain range and ground to powder. It was so rare it cost more than gold. And painters saved it only for the robes of saints. For most of history, blue was the color you had to be rich or clever to own. And blue still had a secret or two left. That ancient Egyptian blue does something nobody noticed for centuries. Shine a light your eyes can't even see on it, infrared, and it glows, quietly in the dark. We use that now to catch forged paintings and fingerprints no one can spot. And the newest blue of all? It fell out of an oven by accident. Not long ago, in 2009, chemists were heating plain powders for something else entirely, opened the furnace, and pulled out a blue so bright it stopped them cold. The first truly new blue in 200 years. We are still right now inventing the colors the world can barely make. So look around again. The sky, your screen, your own blue eyes. Blue is everywhere you look. And almost none of it is really there. Now you know why. Next mystery. Every banana you eat is a clone of one plant.